Let's turn back to Iran. Bloomberg sources say that Israel is stepping up its talks with Saudi Arabia amid growing efforts to counter the Islamic Republic's influence. Bloomberg's Simone Foxman has more on this. Simone, what do we know about these discussions then exactly?
Well, this is the product of some brilliant reporting by our colleagues Sam Dagher and Fiona McDonald. Essentially, we understand, according to several officials, that Saudi and Israeli officials had exploratory talks ahead of a meeting between the U.S. and Gulf countries, a working group there in Riyadh last week, and that Israeli and Saudi officials were meant to engage at the Munich Security Conference, which happened over the weekend. We're in a situation that's quite tense, and so it's understandable, as our colleagues report, that the U.S. is backing these ongoing negotiations, these discussions. Gulf countries, the U.S., all concerned about the increasing nuclear capabilities, which we talked about earlier, of Iran, and Israel taking a much tougher stand, both in rhetoric and appearing to be behind some recent attacks in Iran. Netanyahu also claiming that an attack on an oil tanker owned by an Israeli billionaire was caused by Iran earlier this month. That said, Netanyahu's government in Israel has been promoting some very anti-Palestinian policies, whether that's the expansion of settlements or policies that would make life in prison much more difficult for Palestinian prisoners. All of these things have led to some of the bloodiest months in recent history in terms of Israel and Palestinian conflict. And therefore, this is, of course, the major sticking point for any deeper engagement between Israel and Saudi Arabia.
And then sticking with Israel, the country's central bank will announce its latest rate decision today. I mean, I've reached out to the governor's team to see if you could set up an interview. What's expected?
And I hope we'll get his latest commentary very soon. But economists unanimously believe we're going to get another rate hike here. But it's likely to be the smallest rate hike since last April. Economists looking for a median of about 25 basis points. And if you check out the inflation story, we have a GTV Go chart for our clients, and we'll show you here. What's happening is inflation is very high. It remains very hot, hotter than a lot of economists expected, and well above the 1 to 3% target that the central bank looks for. That said, Amir Yaron, the central bank governor, has previously told us that he expects the year-on-year numbers for inflation to decline after this month, so come March. We will see if that data comes in. One thing that may be important to the decision today also is GDP data coming out last week, much hotter than anyone expected, 5.8% year-on-year for the fourth quarter. That was the preliminary read. Does that cause the Bank of Israel to go a little more aggressive this meeting? We shall see.
And then, Simone, we've got a Qatari bidder that has formally entered the fray with a bid for Manchester United. A new week, a new bunch of details.
Yeah. The bidder is Sheikh Jassim bin Hamad bin Jassim bin Jabir Al Thani, so the son of the former prime minister of the state of Qatar. We understand this bid takeover offer for Man United would be debt-free, and also that it is being advised, this group is being advised by Bank of America. But they are going to face competition from the likes of UK billionaire Jim Ratcliffe, who also said that he had submitted a bid. And then, interestingly, Elliott Management, so the investment firm founded by Paul Singer, coming in, not offering for the team itself, but saying that they'd provide some debt financing for whoever ultimately does win. But is the numbers that these bidders have offered high enough for the Glazer family? They were looking from anything from $6 billion to £6 billion. We shall see as these headlines continue to pour out about this bidding process, Youssef.